The sheriff called just after midnight. His voice carried that smug drawl, the kind that smiled while spitting venom. "Your girl should have watched her mouth," he said. My boy's hand just slipped, that's all. I could hear laughter behind him, beer bottles clinking, men cheering, like it was some kind of joke. My daughter was in the ER. Her arm had snapped clean at the radius. A spiral fracture. The doctor said it took strength, deliberate force. "I'll press charges," I told him. He chuckled. "You go right ahead, mechanic. Around here, I'm the law." Then he added, slower this time, almost savoring the words. "It was deliberate. Your daughter's finished." He hung up. I just stood there, staring at the receiver, my hands trembling, not from fear, but from restraint. 15 quiet years I'd spent fixing carburetors and alternators in a forgotten town, pretending to be ordinary. But that night, the mask came off. The sheriff had no idea who I really was, what I used to do before I came here. He didn't know I once planned routes where a single wrong turn could end presidency. After that job, after the noise, after D.C., I came here to disappear. I found silence in a 2-pump town with 1 diner and 1 sheriff. He shook my hand the day I arrived, all teeth and authority. "Welcome, friend. Around here, we take care of our own." His son was 12 back then, arrogant already. The kind of boy who learned early that rules bent when your father wrote them. I kept to myself. Opened a small garage. Fixed cars. Changed oil. Raised my daughter. She was my quiet miracle. Smart, kind, too good for this place. But the sheriff's boy noticed her when she turned 16, and trouble started circling like a hawk. It began small. Scratch paint on her car. Slashed tires. Notes under her wipers. Then one afternoon, she came home shaking. Cheeks bruised. Voice trembling. "Dad," she said, "no one's going to believe me." That night, I drove straight to the sheriff's house. He met me on the porch, grinning like he'd been expecting me. "You'd better calm down," he said. "Before I decide your girl's story sounds like slander." Behind him, his son leaned against a cruiser, smirking. That's when it happened, that old shift, the calm that used to come before an operation overseas. My breathing slowed. The world sharpened. I didn't shout, didn't threaten, didn't plead. I just looked at them both and started planning. Old habits never die. You just bury them under small talk and routine until people forget. But I still had my notebooks, my maps, my memory. Every Friday night, the sheriff's boy, now 22, would race a sports car through town, showing off to girls who didn't know better. He always took the same route, same turns, same victory lap. That was his mistake. Predictability kills. I started small. First, I fixed an old road sign near the industrial park. A Dieter arrow. Made sure it gleamed under headlights. Next, I loosened a few bolts on the barricades of the inner-construction alley, just enough for one car to slip through. Then, I adjusted the timing on the traffic lights along Route 7. A little cross wiring, a delayed red, an invitation to the dark. I didn't rush it. Revenge isn't about heat. It's geometry, angles, timing, inevitability. 3 weeks later, everything looked natural, a perfect illusion of chance. Friday night came. Engines roared, tires screamed. I sat in my truck a block away, headlights off. The sheriff's boy was laughing, one arm draped around a girl too young to see the danger. He revved the engine. His friends cheered. Then he took off, tail lights bleeding red through the dust. At the intersection, the Dieter sign caught the light perfectly. He followed it, thinking he'd found a shortcut. He didn't know the construction alley was sealed at the far end with reinforced concrete. Didn't know the last barrier had been loosened just enough to let him in, but not out. The engine roared once more, then silence. By the time the sheriff arrived, the car was crumpled against the wall. The paramedics said his boy died instantly. I stayed at my garage, listening to the sirens fade into the night. I didn't smile, didn't celebrate. I just breathed. Justice isn't pleasure. It's balance. The sheriff came to see me 3 days later. No badge this time, just grief and rage. "You did this," he said. His voice cracked between a sob and a snarl. "You set him up." I met his eyes, quiet, letting the silence stretch until he started shaking. You think I could plan something like that? I asked softly. Then I leaned forward, elbows on the table. But if I wanted to, I'd know exactly how. He froze. And for the first time, he understood who I really was. Secret Service. I said, 15 years planning routes for the most protected convoys on Earth. You'd be surprised how easy it is to make a wrong turn look right. His face drained of color. You're done here, he whispered. You'll rot for this. I smiled faintly. You said you own this town. Then you'll have to arrest yourself first. Then I slid a small flash drive across the table. His son's dashcam footage. It showed him speeding drunk, ignoring every sign. An accident. That's what it looked like. That's what it was by every legal measure. The sheriff left without another word. 2 weeks later, he resigned. They found him one morning standing at the edge of that same road, staring at the concrete wall. My daughter healed, physically at least. 6 months later, we packed up and moved. New town. New sign above the garage. Sometimes when I'm fixing a belt or changing a tire, I think about that night, about how easily chaos hides inside routine. People think revenge burns hot. They're wrong. It's cold, precise, steel under silence. The sheriff once said he owned this town. Maybe he did, but I own the roads. And on the night his son took that wrong turn, I just let him drive exactly where he wanted to go.